Do you rely on God's strength or on your material security? This is the question. Somebody say God will provide. God will provide. Most of the time, Sister Anissa, when people say God will provide, they want God to provide material stuff. But the problem with this, from God's perspective, the problem with this, because we as human beings, we tend to idolize everything. We have like replacement theology. God is the one that provides, but then I end up leaning on what he provided. God is the one that provided, but I end up putting my trust in what he provided, right? God is the one that gave me the material stuff, but I ended up trusting in the material stuff. When God blesses you with something, do you end up trusting it more than him? If God blessed you with that job, with that six-figure job, Joy, would you end up trusting in that job to the point that if something happened and that job got taken away, you tripping? Practically, it's okay to be upset, but where's your trust, right? Where's your trust? This question shows our heart posture. This question shows the natural tendency for us to lean more on what God has provided after the fact than after the fact continuing to trust in him. It's almost like we say, God, I need a blessing. Thank you for the blessing. I got it from this point forward. And now my trust is in how much money I make. That's why I'm confident. I got faith right now because I make a bunch of money. But my faith should continue to be into the God who gave me this blessing. I'm not gonna start leaning on my job. I'm not gonna start leaning on my income. That's not my security. And it's a delicate balance because every human being, of course, we're called to store up stuff. Of course, we're called to secure our future. But we're not talking about the act. We're talking about the heart posture. Because the heart posture will determine your behavior. Your heart posture will determine your worship. Your heart posture will determine your response in trouble. And it's when we're in trouble that we tend to, I need a blessing, and now that I got the blessing, now I feel good. But the average person, when I need a blessing, that's when I'm pouting. That's when I'm doubting. Because ultimately, we haven't even really thought, am I replacing God with the stuff he gives me? This is what happens, y'all. And the heart posture begins to worship what God has provided more than him. Saints and friends, this is the heart of idolatry. And this is what we all need to remember, that God will provide, but what he provides never takes place of who he is. And we have to remember not to walk in idolatry, not to value what God has provided to the point that my security is in stuff. Our security has to always be in him.